Our mountains, which are looking more like a winter wonderland. ABC 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie made the trek up to Mount Laguna early this morning. Mary, you were mentioning that you have a four-wheel drive vehicle. That can certainly help you to feel a lot more connected to the roads. And how were they?
It really does. I can say I was grateful to have it this morning just for the last few miles coming up Sunrise Highway, Jim. Other than that, the drive through Alpine and points further east were just fine. The roads are wet, so they could be slippery. But as you get up here toward Mount Laguna, you could find some patches of ice. We're hovering right around that freezing mark. We're just a couple degrees below it. And what's coming down right now, I would call a wintry mix. It can't quite decide what it's doing, if it's going to be full flurries or if we're getting kind of that mix of rain and snow. And it's also some of what's blowing off of the trees because it's very windy. So that has made it feel colder out here. And we've seen some gusts where it looks like it's coming down hard, but really it's just what's blowing off of the trees. I want to point you to those though. If you can see those, it is just a spectacular view this morning. Just a little bit of that sort of frozen snow on there as the wind has kind of stuck it to the pine needles and the branches out here. It's not a lot that's accumulating on the ground, though, I have to say. What's left over from the last storm is just barely hanging on, just enough to make this, Jim, you called it a Charlie Brown snowman. It really is not the best effort I've seen, but it's not quite the winter wonderland that San Diegans really look forward to when they come up here. Later in the day, though, as Vanessa was mentioning, the showers are going to pick up, and so that means if you are coming up later this morning, make sure that you do have chains or you do have a four-wheel drive vehicle. We've seen lots of snow plows out. They don't really have much to scrape off the roads right now, but they're expected to have more later. So be sure that you have a vehicle that can handle this wintry mix as it turns into more snow that could accumulate today. If you're coming up here and you're bringing your sled and you're bringing your winter picnic, make sure that you have extra supplies on hand. Make sure you've got a shovel if you need it or a brush to get rid of whatever lands on your windshield. Make sure you are prepared with those chains or four-wheel drive vehicle because it's likely to be required later on today if you're coming up Sunrise Highway, for example. We're up above 5,000 feet. Not really sure. Vanessa's going to talk about throughout the rest of the show what Julian might get. But just remember that if you do come up here to play in the snow today, be sure to be a good steward. I can hear one of the plows coming right now down the hill. But be sure to be a good steward if you're coming up to the mountains. Make sure you bring a trash bag. Here's one of those plows right on cue. We asked him to be here just at the end of our live shot. As I said, he doesn't have a lot to scrape off the roads, but another thing to mention, if you are driving near snow plows, really be aware that they don't have a really great peripheral vision. So, slow for the plow and don't try to go around them. Reporting live in Mount Laguna, Mary McKenzie, ABC 10 News.